Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Apple Tech Talks, and today we're going to be making a video about just Apple in general. And I apologize if the angle is a little bit lopsided. I'll try to fix it in editing, but I'm not exactly sure. My tripod kind of broke. One of its legs kind of broke and I'm trying to repair it right now. But if the framing is incorrect, I'm very sorry. But anyway, today, as you probably guessed by the title, we're talking about 10 reasons why Apple is the best. Now, there are so many things that Apple does wrong, and I am going to make a whole nother video about that, so thumbs up if you want to see that. But today we're going to be talking about what Apple does well, because they do a lot of good stuff as well, apart from all the things they don't allow us to do, and all the things they still haven't added to the iPhone or their other products. So yeah, here are the top 10 things or 10 reasons why Apple is the best. Number 1, Apple is in control of pretty much the software and the hardware experiences. Unlike other companies, Apple is responsible for making their hardware as well as their software. So yeah, Apple has people who design for the iPhone and design how it looks and how it feels, the materials used, and how it's just all gonna come together. All the sensors and everything, it's all controlled and decided by Apple. The software too, iOS, is also made by Apple. The software, there are software designers and software engineers at Apple whose job is specifically to work on the software. And that is where iOS comes in, and that is also controlled, and every element of it is decided by Apple. So that's the first reason, and just having that experience of the company controlling both your hardware and software to make the most seamless experience definitely shows, and people can definitely feel it in day-to-day use. You might not be able to feel that in other phones like Android phones. The second reason is that they support old devices for a very long time. Longevity. This basically means that software updates come to older devices for at least 4 to 5 years. So right now the iPhone 5, which came out in 2012, is the oldest device that supports iOS 10, and iOS 10 was released last summer, so it's been like 4 years, almost 5 years since the iPhone 5 was released, and still it runs iOS 10, although I would not say that it's the most seamless experience anymore. Either way, their support to bring new features and new security measures to older devices is really a nicely added feature that Apple has done for a long time and is known for doing. The third reason is that their designs are just timeless. I'll just bring back some old phones, old iPhones that are from several years ago, and maybe would seem like a little old to you now, but their design is still amazingly beautiful, unlike many other Android phones from their time. Give me 1 second. So here I have the iPhone 4S. This came out in 2011. This was the first iPhone my family ever owned. And I just want to look a little bit on the design right now. So essentially, the antenna bands have been there since the iPhone 4 came out. So it's not different from anything we have now. We still have the antenna bands on our phone. And although it's a very small and compact device, it fits great in your hand. Your hand can reach across the entire screen. The button is very tactile, and it's a real button, unlike the iPhone 7. The buttons, again, feel really nice in the hand, and then there's still the on-off mute switch or screen lock, whatever you want to call it. And then we also have the camera, which is still an amazing camera, and that reflective Apple logo, and it's reflective metal body, which the iPhone 7 might be using these materials as well. So this is really nice, and of course just the display, it's a Retina display, so just everything about this, even though it came out a long time ago, it doesn't really feel too old yet. And then we have I have the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5S as well, and their designs, although they're pretty much the same, yeah, it's still the reflective stuff. It's a matte finish, just gorgeous white and black colors. Actually, this is a silver color right here. Cameras are gorgeous. It's much thinner, and still by today's standards, it's pretty thin for a phone. And then we have gorgeous screens as well. And yeah, we have nice buttons. This came with Touch ID. It's the first phone to come with Touch ID. And yeah, they're pretty good phones, I must say. And today, I think that these hold up the best in terms of design compared to other devices from that time that they were released. Alright, the fourth feature is that their devices are very thin. Now you've noticed that Apple really focuses on thinness. If you look back on pretty much any product they've made, they've almost always made it thinner, with the exception of maybe the iPhone 6s or the iPad 3, where they made it a little bit thicker, but usually they shrink down their product's thickness a lot. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a good thing, and they've definitely gotten to the point where it really doesn't it doesn't make a huge difference to decrease the thinness in any way. Like, honestly, we don't care anymore about the thinness because these phones are so thin at this point. I don't understand why we would ever need to make it any thinner. But the new MacBook Pro, the new iPhone 7, you know, these phones as well, they've always been incrementally thinner. So as you can see, the difference between the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 5, which are one generation apart, you can see is a really huge difference. You can see, look at how thick this is, and focus, there we go, and then look how thick this is, thin this is, my bad. So you can just see that Apple really focuses on making their devices look nice as well, not to be really big and bulky and sort of look kind of clunky. So yeah, that's just something that needs to be acknowledged. Even if other companies are doing this, Apple has very consistently been doing this with their new MacBook and their MacBook Pro. They're amazingly thin devices. The fifth reason is that their brand is recognized worldwide, meaning that if you have a product that has the Apple logo on it, people are going to recognize it instantly and say, whoa, that person has an iPhone, iPad, MacBook, whatever, and that's a really nice brand. And you know, it gives you a certain status that you won't get with some other phones. Doesn't necessarily mean Apple products are better. It just means that socially they can increase your chances and benefit you in some way or another. Number 6, their software updates are free and available to most devices immediately. So this comes again to my longevity point, but also Apple makes these software updates free and available to most devices instantly. I'm gonna put emphasis on instantly, because with most other devices, like I'll just take Android for an example. We talked about actually it was on a video that I made on my main channel, News Now, which you can click on the video over here. That video was about the truth about Google, and one of the points I made in that video is that Google, it takes a long time for their latest software release to actually hit most phones besides their main phone, the Pixel or the Nexus lineup. Most other phones don't get it until months later, where the update's already outdated, and you know, security measures aren't as up to date as people would like them to be. So, but with Apple, in Apple's case, iOS updates are pretty much available to every supported device immediately. The 7th reason why Apple is the best is that they have unique services like iMessage, iCloud, and Final Cut Pro, along with a handful of others like Pages, Keynote, and Numbers that you just will not find anywhere else. Doesn't mean that competitors haven't had competing services like this. Like, of course, Google has Google Messenger, Google Hangouts, and Google Allo, and Microsoft is doing something with messaging as well. And then we also have Adobe Premiere to compete with Final Cut Pro, which some people say is better. And then we also have the Google Cloud, or the Microsoft Cloud, or Google Drive, which are nice cloud services. But there is something to be said about Apple's way of linking everything together with their services that I just find so nice, and that's part of why I chose the Apple ecosystem. The 8th reason is that the App Store is unlike anything else. Compared to the Play Store or Microsoft's App Store, it's just the Apple's App Store is huge. It's partly because they started it much earlier, but also just they led the revolution with apps. It's just a fact. They started the app revolution. They started the whole obsession with getting new apps, new games, new things that improve your life. And yeah, it all came down to when in 2008 they released the App Store, and now I believe the App Store has at least over 1 million apps, possibly 2 million apps. It's just crazy how many apps there are at this point. And plus, Apple recently has been cleaning out their App Store with apps that haven't been updated in a while to sort of provide people with the apps that they deserve. Alright, the 9th reason is that their focus on pushing into the future, into wireless for example, is really on point. So what I mean by that, well, you probably know that Apple is intent on pushing everybody into the wireless future, which I personally support a lot. So I support the loss of the headphone jack, I support the AirPods, I support the omission of some of the ports, legacy ports that have been on the MacBook for a while. I agree with all of that. I feel like the whole dongle issue is just something that will pass within the next year or so. So you should see that going away soon. Everybody's switching to wireless, to Bluetooth, or another form of wireless connection. Apple is very, very well responsible for this change and for this transformation. They're trying to push the tech industry forward, and I think that's a great move by them. Finally, the 10th reason is that their lineup is super simple and their stores and customer service is excellent. Alright, well, if we're going to talk first about the lineup, it's not as fragmented or as confusing as Google's lineup or Samsung's lineup or Microsoft's lineup. Everything is sort of really clear. For example, if you want a phone, you just get the iPhone 7 or the iPhone 7 Plus. It's either you want a big phone or you want a small phone. It's either you want a dual camera or a single camera. Depending on your needs, it's just two different choices. Very simple. Whereas with Samsung, you have like 5 different Galaxies, 5 different configurations, maybe even more than 5, maybe 10, 15 configurations. And it's very confusing. You just don't know what to do. If you're not a tech enthusiast, you might not know which device is right for you. Whereas with Apple, it's very clear. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you enjoyed. Tomorrow I'm making a really cool video about what happened to my MacBook Pro review. Okay, I guess it's not a cool video, but it's a really, how should I say, it's a very interesting video. It's something that you should definitely watch, and it explains a lot about what has happened to my channel. This channel particularly, not my main channel, but my second channel, Apple Tech Talks. The reason why I haven't uploaded in like a month or two. I was working on my MacBook Pro review and something happened. You'll find out tomorrow. Alright guys, see you tomorrow.